My first reaction back since graduating.
You are now locked in to Crossover Media.
Look, I've been through the pain and the suffering. That's why I thank God for the paper and hustling. Don't like the fame or the hustling. Tree 8 tucked to my boxes, them time, that's what I call getting muscling. Love chat on the net, but it's silent. Sprints on the hunting on shotgun stuttering. Bro, this shoes on the hunting covered him. Tell me, which one of them want test again? I could put 6 in this thing, which one want dead again? Who want lead again? Made a shotgun, everything's spread in it. I remember that day.
I'm enjoying this because I know Abs has been very open as of late about not wanting to do drill anymore, wanting to start like diverting into other genres. This is giving you pieces of Abs's kind of real rap adaptations, but still giving you pieces of the drill. So you can hear he still has some stuff he wants to say and like some points he wants to make, but he's trying to do it in more and more mature ways. I can already tell this one is going to be a very strong pickup from where the first freestyle left off. So I wasn't sure if it was going to be drill, if it was going to be like just rap. So I know he said he wasn't trying to do drill anymore, so shout outs to H1K.
Look, I've been through the pain and the suffering. That's why I thank God for the paper and hustling. Don't like the fame or the hustling. Tree 8 tucked to my boxes, them time, that's what I call getting muscling. Love chat on the net, but it's silent. Sprints on the hunting on shotgun stuttering. Bro, this shoes on the hunting covered him. Tell me, which one of them want test again? I could put 6 in this thing, which one want dead again? Who want lead again? Made a shotgun, everything's spread in it. I remember that day when I tried hit 10 of them. That day we took chase on the thread and then went round there a couple days later, made a hunting shell again. Help me out.
My first reaction back since graduating, and I knew I made the right decision letting Abs be the first reaction that I do since I come back. Because Lord,
shotgun, everything's spread in it. I remember that day when I tried hit 10 of them. That day we took chase on the thread and then went round there a couple days later, made a hunting shell again. Help me out, I'm losing myself. I pray to God and God can help me out. I'm drowning out, I can see I'm losing myself. I swear I'm losing myself. I pray to God and ask you hold me down. I pray to God and ask you hold me down. I feel the hairs growing now. I'm losing myself. I'm losing myself. Whoa. This life is a cycle, I'm stuck in it. I got gunshots on my rivals.
And he's talked about that before too, like how he feels living in the circumstance that he is, and you could tell he's maturing. So mentally, he knows this isn't where it's at anymore. But in terms of what he's lived, what he's experienced, it's all that he knows to a degree. So it's like, how do I adapt my reality with where my head is at when my reality isn't necessarily adjusting too much to the fact that things are changing for me. I'm changing the way that I'm thinking and I'm seeing things. This is definitely a strong evolution. I kind of wish that he teased this at the end of his Dilly Duppy instead of Lean With It. I feel like Lean With It should have been dropped with all the other songs that he was dropping during that time. He was dropping all those drill tracks. And then this should have been teased at the end of the last Dilly Duppy. That last Dilly Duppy started giving us these kinds of topics. He's still staying within the lane of drill in terms of the content, but he's doing it from a different angle that I think a lot more artists should start to explore. And with him being one of the first, I shouldn't say one of the first, a lot of people have done it, but at least within his generation and like his time frame, he's one of the first like young artists who came up through drill, who was starting to really pivot and do it in a really good way while not losing his audience at the same time.
Whoa, this life is a cycle, I'm stuck in it. I got gunshots on my rivals. I can never see a brother that my brother anything and let him slide. How can I let him slide? When we had it out function, we jeopardize it. But we stabbing niggas up, we don't televise it. I remember them days we was stuck in it. I got gunshots on my rivals. I can never see a brother that my brother anything and let him slide. How can I let him slide? When we had it out.
Taking back that flow again.
To God and ask you hold me down. I feel the hairs growing now. I'm losing myself. I'm losing myself. Whoa, this life is a cycle, I'm stuck in it. I got gunshots on my rivals. I can never see a brother that my brother anything and let him slide. How can I let him slide? When we had it out function, we jeopardize it. But we stabbing niggas up, we don't televise it. I remember them days we was terrorizing. Any up that we saw, we should have revised it. So the block not that we don't terrorize it. When the text rising, all hell's rising.
Abs just flows, and Abs is one of those, he does this thing where with his flows, he'll find the flow and he'll stick with it for a good bit before switching it up. But what I like about this new direction that he's taken with his music is that the new sounds are giving him opportunities to flow in different ways, in ways that we haven't necessarily heard from him, or ways in which we've kind of started to hear, but now he's really taking it to a whole other level. And the fact that it's being paired with a different kind of sound right? This isn't a regular drill beat. This is really kind of in the middle of drill to a degree, while not really being drilled at the same time in terms of like sonically. So that's really dope, and that's one of the things that I like when artists change up the kinds of beats that they use, because it allows them to flow in different ways, and the beat also allows them to express themselves in different ways too.
So losing myself. Whoa. This life is a cycle, I'm stuck in it. I got gunshots from my rivals. I can never see a brother that my brother anything and let him slide. How can I let him slide? We had it out of function, we jeopardize it. But we stabbing niggas up, we don't televise it. I remember them days we was terrorizing. Any up that we saw, we should have been revising. So the block not fair, we don't terrorize it. When the text rising, all hell's rising. I get a Chester. From a block of gunmen to rich niggas. All the fucking far. Bust my gun even when I had 6 figures. We was bad but we never had sticks with us. Back my flick side out and dip you up. Man, your Mac on my index, we lift you up. Spin the boss on my index, itch you up. I could find another way out of all of this and I would. No, I'm in too deep and I'm way too deep and I should.
Exactly what he's way too deep. And as you were saying, like mentally he knows it's time, but it's just too difficult. And I think that's one of the things that we need to kind of give artists a little bit more empathy, right? Especially those of you who haven't lived this life. Gotta have a bit more empathy in terms of understanding that when you've been so immersed in something and that's the only way in which you know how to navigate the world, it's not just as simple as upping as leaving and changing everything that you know. The ways in which everybody who are civilians learn to navigate life is not the same. Rules of engagement is just not the same. So like, yeah, any sane person understands this ain't it, but to understand it and know it and actually be able to live it, it's two different things in terms of being able to live like not living that way. If this had dropped before I dropped my intro to Abs playlist and mix, make sure you check that out. Top 10 songs for new Abs fans, listeners, etc. I probably would have thrown this on that playlist. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Spin the boss on my index, itch you up. I could find another way out of all of this and I would. No, I'm in too deep and I'm way too deep and I should. But I could be greater than this, I could be. If I could find another way out of all of this and I would. But I'm in too deep and I'm way too deep and I should be. But I could be greater than this, I could be. I ain't never walk street with an empty machine, every clip penciling that around me full. I ain't doing no war with a U on it. I don't respond to man on Insta, but I pull up. No, when I pull up.
You see, he's one of those artists that I've always said he has the perfect way of jumping between topics in such a way that it almost doesn't even feel like he's jumping between topics. On one hand, he's just giving you straight up drill kind of stuff. On the other hand, he's giving you the real rap, whatever. But he's finding ways to give you the real rap, as some people would say, while giving the drill at the same time. But it's like he just so perfectly found a way to weave in, here's how I'm really thinking, while also here's the way in which I've learned to articulate myself, especially through music. I can't really think of many artists off the top of my head who do it this well. You're saying like, what am I doing responding to somebody on the net? Those are the things that I'm sure a lot of people, especially the people who live this reality, are thinking like, I'm not going to waste my time with some random 15-year-old who's taking sides and stuff that have nothing to do with him. He got real things to worry about when he steps out. He's showing us that while popular belief may tell us that drill artists or people who live this life aren't rational, they don't think or whatever, they're very much so cognizant. So I appreciate the fact that he's using this as a platform to actually let us know that there's some sense within, you know, the heads and what they're going through.
Man on Insta, I pull up. No, when I pull up, I don't need the whole world seeing my invitation. Tell the country and leave my faceless, I don't want witness statements. I didn't say I've jumped on the off-beat flick when I was the flip before off-beat. I can never take track from a wannabe flick shack days. I was bad in my wannabe. They might talk on the net, but never in front of me. And he drilled that I done properly. So I hate when the police bother me. Why they try and keep stopping me? I really live this life.
Man said any drill that I done it properly. So I tried it, can stop me. It's impossible for you to know, because I went through proper procedures and precautions. Nothing was left. Like, it's impossible for you to know it was me. So why are you bothering me? Because you're just harassing me for its own sake. I know how to do the job right. Like that's how you can incorporate. He's incorporating conversations about his interactions with the police. He's incorporating conversations in terms of like what he's lived. He's incorporating the drill content again, and he's doing it all within the same bar. That to me, and it's a relatively minor thing. I'm sure some people might say I'm looking too deeply into it, but that's how I've learned to hear and listen to the music.
I can never take chat from a wannabe. Flick shank days, I was bad in my wannabe. I might talk on the net, but never in front of me. Any drill that I done properly. So I hate when the police bother me. Why they try then keep stopping me? I really live this life. I got done ups to my time. I ain't never been shy to jump in the ride. Put on my mask and slide with the guys. Kush pulled up in this brilliant timing. Hit on my niggas like, yo, who's sliding? Grab the machine and fill it with blind if the show were inside and who's outside. Smooth thing with the whistle was a 2.5, but a grand power goes boom bye bye. I remember when we gonna get a 3.5, now we buy a machine like a parent now.
I had to take it back because I was listening to the beat. I was like, it's on a drill beat because it has slides. But when you really listen to it, like, this is definitely a slight divergence from just traditional drill to a degree. Like, you could drop the slides and this will still be a banging song. You can still identify everything that makes this a good song. The dope thing about this is one of the things that Abs does really well. He builds suspense between his verses and his lines. He has a thing where when he's working with these producers, shout out to H1K, they drop large chunks of the beat, just let the perks or the hi-hats or whatever just build up, and he's ramping up as he's talking.
I'm on our block and I'm locked and loaded, tryna bun somebody's son one day, nearly head top somebody's son, then blowing back and whack somebody's son.
And then it drops. He's been doing that on a lot of his tracks, and for me what it does is it makes you focus on what he's saying, and then it lets the beat also get an opportunity to shine, because then I realized that the beat changed and now I'm listening to the beat. I can never take chat from a wannabe. Flick shank days, I was bad in my wannabe. I might talk on the net, but never in front of me. Any drill that I done properly. So I hate when the police bother me. Why they try then keep stopping me? I really live this life. I got done ups to my time. I ain't never been shy to jump in the ride. Put on my mask and slide with the guys. Kush pulled up in this brilliant timing. Hit on my niggas like, yo, who's sliding? Grab the machine and fill it with blind if the show were inside and who's outside. Smooth thing with the whistle was a 2.5, but a grand power goes boom bye bye. I remember when we gonna get a 3.5, now we buy a machine like a parent now. Some of niggas really do the guys. Kush pulled up in this brilliant timing. Hit on my niggas like, yo, who's sliding? Grab the machine and fill it with blind if the show were inside and who's outside. Smooth thing with the whistle was a 2.5, but a grand power goes boom bye bye. I remember when we gonna get a 3.5, now we buy a machine like a parent now. Some of niggas really do live this life. We don't back machine and air in sky. He said that we buy a machine like a pair of Nike. I thought it's like a pair of knives. He said we buy a machine like a pair of Nike. I know they say Nike instead of Nike.
The whistle was a 2.5, but a grand power goes boom bye bye. I remember when we gonna get a 3.5, now we buy a machine like a parent now. Some of niggas really do live this life. We don't back machine and air in sky. Back machine and air on guys. Hope the doctors get there in time. You could lose your life. Looks up, when my dogs creep up. 9mm stuffed in a heater. Keep on running with your friends, pray you keep up. From the belly to the forehead, we ain't hitting knees. I didn't cut when I bust, now my whole team's up. I was broke, now I'm richer than my old teacher. No one's losing there, no alopecia. And they say we just rap, must be amnesia.
And I can't even, I feel like a fake Abs fan now, because I know he's backed out that flow before me. As I'm listening to it, I'm gonna remember this song.
Creep up when a man lean up in the night time. No ever put a beam on. Don't tell me nothing, we hearing our knees up. Only got my mama the ones telling me up.
Something Abs does really well is he pays homage to his own flows very often. He does that very frequently. I think that's one of the things that makes his music so replayable as well. It feels like an Abs song, but you also want to listen to it to hear exactly what makes this one different. What was he saying differently on this one? How did he say a little bit different? What was the minor tweak in the flow that he did this time? This is one of the most perfect Abs songs that he's dropped. It really is the culmination of everything that we love about Abra Cadabra, and every single thing that he's dropped from Robbery, even prior, all the way to now. It's the damn near perfect culmination.
I remember when we gonna get a 3.5, now we buy a machine like a parent now. Some of niggas really do live this life. We don't back machine and air in sky. Back machine and air on guys. Hope the doctors get there in time. You could lose your life. Looks up, when my dogs creep up. 9mm stuffed in a heater. Keep on running with your friends, pray you keep up. From the belly to the forehead, we ain't hitting knees. I didn't cut when I bust, now my whole team's up. I was broke, now I'm richer than my old teacher. No one's losing here, no alopecia. And they say we just rap, must be amnesia. Know the thing. Rappers and fucking slappers, don't get it twisted. Fuck a statement, man, leave behind bodies and spent showcases.
Well then.
Still on the front line, raising the gun crime.
No comment.
Not a fuck.
You know what's the one thing, and then I'll let this play out. The one thing I think I can nitpick at. If I were to compare this to other things that I've given 10s, especially over the last like year and a half or so, it doesn't have the crazy wordplay or whatever. Where this one really does max out, in my opinion, with regards to the lyricism, with the exception of the crazy bars and stuff, is in his storytelling. It's in the way that he seamlessly weaves in and out of the way that he delivers the different content matters, the ways in which he gives you his own version of conscious rap to a degree, while still keeping it drill, while still keeping it real, still keeping it rap. That to me is what makes Abs such a great artist. And I'm gonna let this ride out now. Shout outs to H1K. H1K and Abs are undefeated duo as well. There really isn't too much for me to say about this one. As expected, it was a great song from Abs. It delivered in every department that it possibly could. But if you want to hear my full analysis, check out my breakdown. I have it linked in the cards up top, and you can check it out in the description in the pinned comment down below. Thank you for tuning in, and hang tight for some more reactions. I do got more of those coming for y'all, but until next time, peace.